So in this video, I'm going to talk about how much money I spent in the month of April living in Singapore as a physiotherapist. I did a video 3 months ago documenting how much money I spent in January, and I talked about the ways that I was going to cut down my spending so that I could save and invest more money. I pored through all my bank statements and my budgeting apps just so I could make this video for you guys. So let's see if I really did cut down my spending in this video. So I usually track my expenses with two main apps. The very first one will be the main one, which is called the Wallet app. Basically how it works is really easy. Every time I spend money on something, I just whip up my phone and I'll just record it down on the Wallet app itself. So usually what I just need to do is I just need to put the amount that I'm spending and which category that I'm spending it on, so that it makes my life easier when I make this kind of videos for you guys. I don't have to just go back to my bank statements and pour through everything. I kind of know which category they are in and how much I'm spending roughly on most of the categories on my Wallet app itself. So of course there will be times, I'm human like everyone else, there will be times where I forget to record down my expenses. Then that's where the second app comes in. So I usually use the POSB app. Now that I'm diversifying my money into the UOB, HSBC and different kind of bank apps, it's a little bit harder to track. But in general, if you're just using POSB app, you can usually track your subscriptions, your expenses and some of the things, basically how the money flows out in that sense. And the Wallet app is the one that I use to record all my expenses, and I cross-reference it with my POSB app or other bank apps to make sure that I get it as accurate as possible. So I'm sure that you have subscriptions that you probably didn't know that you already applied and you're not using much of it. So once you find them out from the apps itself, definitely delete them or remove them so you don't waste any extra money. So let's go through all the expenses right now, and we'll be going through them from smallest to biggest, and I'll be revealing how much money I spent for the month itself at the end, totaling everything up. First on the list will be miscellaneous subscriptions. The first one would cost me a total of $57 in total, and I have since unsubscribed to all the things that I no longer use since January after making the first money diary. So I think that's really one of the best things that you can do from making this kind of painstaking videos of tracking all your expenses. I don't really enjoy doing all this. I must be honest that I don't really enjoy looking at all my expenses because number one, I feel that they take so much time to put everything together, but number two itself is that every time I see something that I'm spending a lot of money on, I just want to avoid it, and I actually don't know why I'm doing this. This is kind of like my therapy session, but I feel like I want to avoid looking at the big expenses. But the truth is, if you want to really cut down your expenses, you have to face the music and you have to see exactly how much you're spending on and what you are spending on. Only then can you really cut it down and make sure that you are saving money. So a lot of my subscriptions from before, I think I was spending about $100 for subscriptions. This month itself, I only spent $57 in subscriptions, which is pretty nice. So now I only have 3 subscriptions that I'm left with, which are Epidemic Sound, Flat Icon and Photoshop. Epidemic Sound is a website that I use to get all my music for my YouTube videos. So to be fair, I don't edit a lot of my videos anymore, so perhaps I should also consider unsubscribing to them, but once in a while I still use them. So Flat Icon is one of these websites where I get this kind of very nice icons that I use for most of my YouTube videos, thumbnails, and they cost around $16 per month, and they allow me to use the icons that I regularly use, right? Photoshop costs around $30, and I also use it every week in order to craft my thumbnails for my YouTube videos. So these are 2 apps that I use rather frequently, and I'm pretty okay with them. Next on the list will be transport. So for transport itself, I spent a total of $168.46 for transport for this month. So it's broadly categorized into 2 main areas. So in Singapore, we are really very blessed because our country is really pretty small. So one thing that the government did very well is that our buses, our trains, our main public transport is actually really good and really affordable. So usually the first mode of transport is bus and trains. The second mode of transport, which will be things like taking the cab, taking taxis, those are things that you usually take when you're in a rush, when you're in a hurry, or when you have no choice but to get out of the place, you have to take a taxi. So I don't own a car in Singapore, which means that my main mode of transport is actually buses and trains, and once in a while I also take cab home if I'm staying at my girlfriend's house after midnight or if I am going back from work. So I spent a total of $92.53 from buses and $75.93 from cab rides. So the buses still take a big amount over there, but it's fine because I still spend that money to go to work and back to work, and also when I go out with my family on the weekends and all those kind of things. So I took a total of 6 taxis. So I don't think I can avoid taking the buses and trains, and since it's such a small amount, I don't really focus focus on it too much. The one that I'm spending a little bit more on which is the taxis, which are things that I'm not really, I wouldn't say I'm not supposed to, but things that I can actually avoid. So I took a total of 6 taxis this month. 3 were planned and 3 were unplanned. So the ones that were planned, I usually take them after work. So when I finish work, sometimes it's around 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock is when it's non-peak hour, and it makes the most sense to take the taxis home because the taxis will be cheaper and I will reach home in 15 minutes time compared to 45 minutes if I were to take the bus. So that is a no-brainer and it really saves me time. So I'm willing to spend on that. But the ones that were unplanned this month itself, 2 of them were unplanned ones because I wanted to stay over longer at my girlfriend's house. I stayed at a place over midnight, so I had no choice but to take the cab home. And the one last one that was super unplanned was the funniest actually. The funny story was that there was one day itself where I woke up late for work, and I think I woke up at 9:20 and I had patients at 9:30 itself. But the thing was that I woke up to a phone that had no battery at all, and it was my new iPhone 15 Pro that I'm filming with right now. And I charged it the previous night all the way to full battery, but then it had no battery on that day itself, and I woke up late, so I had no choice but to cap down in order to see my patients at 9:30 to 9:45, and I was late. I don't know if you guys have any problems with your iPhone 15 as well, your new iPhone 15, so leave it down in the comments below if you're experiencing issues like this as well. The next category will be life and entertainment, and I spent a total of $137.50. $25.50 goes to the international driving permit. So I'll be going to Japan this month, so I'm going to be spending a lot of money this month. But in order to drive there, I will need to apply for an international driving permit online, and this application costs $25. So I took my usual haircut as well. I don't know if you guys realize this, my hair is a little bit shorter. Probably can't see anymore, but it happens once every 2 months, and my haircut costs $8. So this is actually quite a necessity for me. As you can see in Singapore, I don't know if it's very easy to see through the camera, but it is so warm in Singapore now. You can almost see me kind of sweating everywhere, but it is so warm. And I exercise very regularly, maybe about 2-3 times a week. And honestly, I feel that if I have shorter hair, it just makes it so much more comfortable. My quality of life is so much better, and I just feel so much better. And it really helps me to be a bit more productive in my work as well. Basically, I'm a lot happier when my hair is short. Then comes the big expense, the $104. I use it to buy 2 of Gary Vee's books and sign autographs. So Gary Vee is one of my favorite businessmen and YouTubers, and he was having this live event online where if you bought this bundle of his books and you post a question on his Instagram or the website itself, he may answer your question. So I waited 1 entire hour all the way to midnight, and he was answering everyone's questions, but unfortunately he didn't answer my question. Anyway, I mean, it was unfortunate that he didn't answer my question, but usually I get to buy his latest books, which are really nice, and they usually pay off in investments because of the knowledge and the fulfillment that I get just from reading his books. He's a really wise man, and if any of you guys are interested in posting on social media, or you just want to be more fulfilled in life, you should really listen to what he's saying. But it is what it is. I'm okay with spending this money in order to invest, and really ultimately his advice helps me with posting social media content as well, so I should really think of this more as a investment. The next category itself is also insurance and money to my mom. So basically, I pay around $200 to insurance, and these are yearly lump sum payments that I pay one shot in order to my insurance company. And basically what happens is that I get entire insurance coverage for my life, for accidents, for disabilities and all those kind of things. This is extremely important, and for those of you who are not covered by insurance, please go get it done. All those things, your financials, your investments, all these things are not as important as your insurance. I'm not an insurance agent, so this is coming from me, someone who is not trying to sell you anything. You should definitely get yourself covered. You should think of your sort of expenses and your investments a bit like a pyramid. So the bottom of the pyramid, which is the widest base, that is going to be your insurance. In case anything happens, these are things that are going to cover you for life. And if you cannot work anymore, these are payments that you're going to get in order to help you to live life. Above that, then you can think about savings, then you can think about investments, so that the pyramid gets smaller and smaller towards the top. If you get sick and you cannot work at all, then all your investments, everything that you spend so much time and effort on, all those things will have to be liquidated just to pay your money in order to pay your medical bills. And who knows if that's going to be enough. You may not even have enough money for that. So definitely get your insurance covered. Next one will be $500 that I pay to my mom every single month. I can't say I pay to her, I just kind of give her a little bit of that, of my salary, and it kind of works out. The way I kind of think about it is like rent that I'm paying, because I'm still staying with my parents, and I honestly feel it's a very small price to pay for all the things that she's done for me my entire life. $500 is really nothing every single month to her. So I think this is really, really needed. For those of you who are not giving money to your parents, you definitely should. But it also depends on your family situation and how much you're earning as well. Next will be the phone bill and the new phone that I got this month. So I'm using the iPhone 15 Pro right now, and I spent a total of $396 buying this month itself. The phone itself was actually just $214 if I upgraded to a contract that would pay maybe about $70 a month. Yeah, and to be entirely honest, I don't know if I can count this as an impulse buy, because my phone contract had already expired. It's a 2-year phone contract in Singapore, and if it already expired, and my old phone was already, my iPhone 13 is already 2 years plus, and the phone battery was low and everything. But these were basically my justifications for getting the phone. Number one, my old phone had already been used for 2 years plus, so the battery life is not that great, and the chances of it failing on me is actually quite high. Number two, if I upgraded my phone itself, you can see through this camera, the camera is a little bit clearer, everything is just a little bit nicer. I see it as an investment. So seeing that it's just $200 and a little bit more money to upgrade my plan, I can really get this good deal in order to get this investment of a phone and have a phone that won't fail on me. It was just too good of a deal to not back down from it, and I really got it. $182 was then spent on my phone bills and upgrading to miscellaneous plans due to the change in phone. I think this is a little bit higher, on the higher side as well, but I think I'm expecting this to be a one-time thing. I'm going to keep an eye on it and make sure that next month itself it doesn't blow out of proportion again, and it's just $70 that I sign up for. Otherwise, I'm going to do something about it. Next category would be shopping, and this was around $400. $398.90 if you want to be exact. Basically, this month was a big month for us. It was my girlfriend's birthday, so these two things, this $400 is spent on two main things. The first one was a birthday present, and the second one was a birthday cake. So the birthday present itself, or rather, let's start with the birthday cake. The birthday cake itself was an apricot thyme cake, which cost $163.90 from Edith Patisserie. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly, but she really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the cake too. And the second thing I bought from her was a birthday present that cost $235. She actually loves anime and One Piece, so I bought this. For those of you One Piece lovers, I bought her this Corazon and Law figurine, and this was something that was inside the movie. She really loved these two characters, and I think that really made her happy. And to be fair, this figurine itself was actually sold in the shops for around $350. I was able to find it from someone on Carousel for $230. So I think I did my due diligence. I was able to get the lowest price possible, and I got her a gift that she really enjoyed. So I think this is really money that's well spent. Next will be investments. So in investments wise, I spent a total of $431 this month, and the bulk of it honestly just goes into editing YouTube videos like this for my editor Hasbi. So usually we do a video every single week, and one video every single week costs around $100 USD, which is about 140, 150 SGD depending on the currency itself. So that's actually pretty nice. The last category is actually food and drinks. So for food and drinks, it will be around $853.92. That is the biggest category amongst everything else. So in my previous video, I also mentioned that I was ordering pre-packaged meals from this company called Nutrify SG. So they help to prepare and deliver food to my house. They have the proper nutrients and calories, and it helps me stay in shape with less effort. So it definitely does cost a bit more to eat their meals rather than eating the meals outside, but it really helps me to keep within my calorie count. If I eat a meal outside at the local shops, it costs anywhere between $5 to $10, but their meals are usually a little bit more expensive, around the $10 to $15 on average. But I kind of like this because I kind of treat this a little bit like how editing is being done for me on my YouTube channel. So I can definitely cook myself and prepare my own food, but that will require a lot more time and effort. Just like what editing, I can do editing myself as well, but just outsourcing editing to Hasbi, it makes my YouTube videos look a lot better because he does the editing a lot better than me, and it helps me stay consistent with posting my YouTube videos. So it's the same thing for cooking and preparing the food in that sense. I see it as a way for me to be consistent and stay on my diet in that sense. So if I count everything in, I've spent a total of $3,142.78 this month. For every one of you who have made it to the end of this video, you deserve to know exactly how much I spent. So overall reflections for the month is that my phone bill and shopping are things that are a bit more expensive this month, but there are also a variable expense that won't be happening every other month. So I'm okay with this one-time payment being a little bit higher. Next month itself, I should see a sharp drop in both of these expenses. To have the biggest effect on my saving as well, I really believe to concentrate your efforts on reducing the largest expenses, which are the investments and the food and drinks. What I'm most proud of are actually the investments. So in my last video, I spent a total of $1,200 on YouTube for the making of thumbnails, making of YouTube shorts and long form videos. And this time I only spent $431, which is almost saving $800. And that is a pretty good sort of improvement. And I'm really proud of myself for that. I've been doing a lot more of my thumbnails myself. In fact, I'm doing everything myself in that sense. Food and drinks have also decreased from $942.50 to $853. So that's almost $100 decrease as well, but I can do better for that as well. So I'm going to improve on, reducing my expenses for my food and drinks forward. And of course, this coming month, I'm going to Japan without question. I love Wagyu beef. I really, really love Wagyu beef. So I'm probably going to spend a lot more money this month as well. But I'm going to, once I come back from Japan, I'm going to make sure that I'm saving a lot more money as well. So these are the goals for the next couple of months. So I'm going to spend around $700 or so for food when we get back. And for YouTube as well, I will aim to keep it about $600, which is one YouTube long form video every single week to make sure that we are still within the budget of investments. I can increase this anytime next time when I'm making more money from YouTube itself. So people definitely subscribe and like the video so that I can get monetized. But basically when the YouTube channel kind of takes off a little bit more, I can spend a bit more money for investments. For now, we'll keep it around $600. And one thing I'm going to factor in as well is probably going to have a variable expense account. So it seems like every few months there'll be random things that will just pop up and I'll have to spend money on these things, like shopping for example this month. So I'm going to have a buffer of $300 every single month to really save up for this kind of unexpected surprises to some extent. But hopefully this video gives you guys insight on how I budget and manage my money and basically help you guys with saving, investing and growing your money as well. Everything starts really from saving your money and spending them on what makes you happy. If you enjoyed this video here, then you'll probably enjoy this video here on how I invested my $100,000. Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day as usual and I'll see you guys in the next few videos. Bye bye.